Hi there, welcome back to Japan and to another one of our reaction and reviews, this time of Let's Fight by LUV. As always, this is the review video. If you want to see the reaction, pause this, click the little link in the description below and it'll open up a separate little YouTube player where you can watch me reacting to the song, just in case you haven't heard it before or in case you want to see how my face reacted. You ready for the review then? If not, remember to pause this, because here comes the review. Don't say I didn't warn you. Okay, so this was a nice one in a lot of the ways that I think I could say it. Very much, again, I think we're getting a good idea for what the band's sound is now. With quite a few songs in, like I said, I listened to a live stream of theirs recently where they were playing a lot of songs from a new EP. And, you know, I just, well, album, I should probably say, it was a nice link for you, playlist. I just, as a general, get the feeling that we can kind of safely say that this band has a very identifiable sound. You know, when you hear them, you immediately can tell it's them. It's a mixture of both the ethic with which they put together and produce the music, and also the lead singer's voice and vocal style, and the writing. There are certain things that are, shall we say, present in a lot of their songs, and I think often the difficult balance with a band is both making a sound that's identifiably yours, not to say that you can't vary, but having a core sound that's identifiably yours, and at the same time being able to follow certain patterns without sounding like you're just repeating the same thing, which I know is a balance that a lot of people talk about. I mean, we talked before, and I often bring up this example. A lot of people who follow this channel have a bit of an issue with Nakata Yasutaka, who does the production for people like Carrie Pami Pami and Perfume, because they say all his songs sound the same. And I'm often like, well, no, he's got a very specific palette. He uses it in a very specific way, but he does have variation in between. So there's a sort of a scale. There's a scale, or I think a lot of it depends on what you're used to hearing, what you've grown up listening to probably as well, makes a big difference of what sounds can be, if you like, too repetitive if you hear them too much. So just to give you an idea, that's kind of the basis I'm working on from here when I say that, to me, this sounds very typical of their sound. It sounds very much like their songs, it reminds me a lot of the other songs that I've heard by them, and yet at the same time it does still sound fresh, and I think that's the big thing. Identifiably, you can immediately tell it's them, but it sounds different. Now, the points that make this sound very similar to their other songs, and the things which, if you like, I could call signature elements. First of all, those very clean sounds. Everything sounds very clean, not too much on like the post effects like reverb, but there's no big echoes or anything like that. All the sounds are quite sharp, sound quite close. But at the same time, there's a lot of intricacy to it. There's a lot of, that gives the song a lot of bounce. You notice the verse, it's very bouncy. The guitar, very clean sound. The, like, sort of electronic drum beat, very clean sound. It has a lot of impact, but it's matched up with some nice little intricacies, like, you know, the backing string synth I thought was brilliant. It thickened up the sound a lot as well. And those are really core identifiers of how they write their songs. Also, you had the vocal performance, very much in line with how a lot of their other songs are. Nice melody, well performed, had good emotion in it, just enough to convey the feeling of the song, but not enough to, if you like, override the fact it's still a piece of music at the core rather than a piece of acting. And then on top of that was the fact that, like I say, there were certain writing elements. I noticed with the post-chorus, that was something that you've heard them do before, you know, where they extend the chorus as they go through. So what makes this song individual and different? Well, first of all, I must say that, again, it was in the subtleties. The weird little, what kind of sampled 80s hype man you've got going on in the background of that pre-chorus, that was kind of just a nice little touch. Sometimes like a little effect here and there can give a song a sort of a weird signature sound of its own. I mean, obviously one of the most clear examples, you think of something like Pretty Fly for a White Guy by The Offspring. That's an example of when sampling makes a song. So the core of the song is just a very normal Offspring song, but everyone remembers that sample. Same thing with, you know, I mean, not sampling in this case, but Don't Fear the Reaper, more cowbell. Everyone, I know that was brought about by a skit, but everyone still, even before that, we all knew the cowbell. Sometimes just a little sound can add a signature quality to a song beyond its identity within the band. And certainly with this, I thought that had a nice little fun element. The first time it came around, I was like, this is strange. But as it came around more and more, it kind of, well, the second time, it certainly made me think, actually, you know what, this is kind of fun. This is kind of a fun little thing to put in there. And then on top of that, I think one of the qualities that really worked for this was the fact that the chorus was a nice balance between being sing-alongable. It had that sort of anthemic enough quality, but at the same time, it was a grower. It wasn't one of those sort of choruses that, you know, is just so innately obviously catchy that it actually becomes annoying because it gets stuck in your head. This was, I don't know if this necessarily would get stuck in my head, but it's one that every time I come back to it, I'm going to be like, oh, I should listen to that a second time, I think, because the chorus did just kind of work really nicely. So I think that a lot of the qualities here in this song were really the things that I think we would expect. Like I say, it was very true to the core sound, having enough of a unique element to stand out as being its own thing. Now, where does the problem come in? Because we're always honest here. Don't just kiss ass. Truth be known, the problem here is actually it's a difficult one because you can't have it both ways. I think that because this is very true to their sound, I don't think it's going to win over anyone who's not already a fan. If you're already a fan, you're going to like this. Like I say, I've been enjoying their sound. This one works for me. I like it because I like what I hear from them. But it's not going to win over anyone who's not a fan already. And that's an arguable one, you know. I mean, they are still quite early in their career, so I know that some people would perhaps push, oh, they should, you know, do more different things to get more different, more of a different, you know, a wider audience. But I don't know. I think that they're at the point where they're cementing their sound. I think it's good that they're honest to their sound for now. In future albums, I would perhaps look to hear more of them pushing their limits in different directions. But at the moment, I think it's good that they're honest to their core sound, because their core sound is not something that we've heard before. If they were another rock band doing rock in the sort of normal 2 guitars, bass, drums, and a vocalist way that we've heard so many times before, then yes, I would say even from the first album, I want to hear some sort of variation, because you're building on something that's so established that, you know, you don't really have to work out your sound if that's what you're doing. However, with a band like this, like I say, the sound is quite fresh. It's quite interesting. It's quite different. So, you know, I like I said, I couldn't really push too hard against that, but I do think it is something maybe worth bearing in mind for future projects, is that this song, like I say, is it's a fan pleaser. It's someone who's already a fan. It's a pleaser for them. Certainly, I have a little playlist of certain artists who I really like. I've got a playlist of their songs, and this one will sit very nicely in that playlist. And it will keep me happy. But I know I'm sort of belaboring the point, but like I say, I don't think this is going to win over any new fans. It's just a sort of a nice continuation for those who already like the band. But anyway, I'm interested to see what you think. Is this the first song you've heard by them? Are they a new band for you? I mean, I know they're a new band for a lot of people, because like I say, they're kind of starting out. Also, on top of that, do you think, if you're maybe a long-term fan, how do you think it varies from their other songs? Do you like the amount of variation they're using? As always, I want to hear your opinions. We try to reply to as many of these opinions as we can. And, of course, a big thing to do alongside that is all the YouTube stuff. Liking, subscribing, you know how all of that works. If you want to follow any other social media and talk to other people who also talk about Japanese music all day long, we've got a lot of them. Other social medias are linked in the description below. You know how this works. Big thank you to everyone on the Patreon. As always, seriously, like, especially like the last trip I just did to Tokyo, you guys helped me survive that. Picked up some good equipment as well, which is going to help improve things, hopefully, on my channel in the future also. And just thank you anyway for making it through to the end of this, another one of these fantastically ramble-tastic videos. So for now, from Japan, until I hopefully see you soon on the next one of these, ciao ciao.